Hello everyone, happy Monday. Hey Mats, it almost feels like we have royalty in the house whenever I see Mats nowadays. Hey Steven, also another one of the old school people. Nice to see you. I hope you've had a good weekend and a good day. And prepared for a good week as well, I guess. There's been, I've been thinking so much about where Nicole is here as well. Wow, nice. I've been thinking so much about what direction to bring the channel, and I know we've been discussing it here in the evenings as well. It just feels like, I'm finally getting to the point that now I really want to start making videos again. Catherine, also, wow. There's something happened, like all the old people came today. That's really nice. No, I've been thinking a lot about where to bring the channel and how to restart, because I intentionally made a stop when I noticed that there were so many people who were coming here that simply weren't the target audience of what I wanted to share, at least. And it's just really nice to have this evening. And even if I took a break from releasing videos, I still felt like I really want to do these evenings. Even today, I've been away. I've had the kids by myself because they have, at school, sometimes they close school, and then, so I had to have the kids today, and take a day off of work. And we were out playing, we were making chocolate muffins and just having a good time. And we were in a village away from here, and I was like, maybe I should just cancel the meditation tonight and spend a little bit extra time. Like, no, I want to do the meditation. So it felt really good to come back and really good to keep this going. And I hope it's the same way for you, because I know how easy it is when you practice something and then you don't have anyone to connect to about it, or when you don't have any, how should I put that, like any continuity to it. Because if it's just you sitting at home and you're doing your practice, your meditation or whatever it is you're doing, but if you're doing it by yourself, then it's very easy to just have that drift off and just kind of die out by itself. Or you have, so many people have the idea of all or nothing. They come up with this new technique and then they go into it and they just sit 1 hour every day or 2 hours every day, and they're going to do that, and they do that, and they burn out after a month because they can't keep that up. So having a community or a group of people that you can continuously connect to makes it easier to have that going. And I'm very fortunate because, my fiance, she does very similar to what I do, and we talk about stuff all the time. And it's really nice to live together with someone whom I can have conversations like that with. And just, even though we don't practice that much together because we have the children, so our waking up and going to bed schedules are a bit different, and I usually wake up in the middle of the night from pain in my neck. So that means I have time when she's sleeping and, everyone else is sleeping, and it's just me awake. So I've always felt that these evenings they're good for that, for people. And I've always felt that I want to come, not just for my own sake, but for everyone who's watching, so that there's the possibility to have somewhere to sit. I really appreciate you show up for us, Evie. Thank you. It takes effort. I sometimes hear people complaining, you should be doing this, you should be doing that, or like, you're actually like doing coaching, earning money from this, like, how dare you? Like, well, it takes effort. It takes a lot of effort, and making videos takes even more effort. So, it is a commitment. I think it's been at least a year and a half now that I've been doing this, and it's just become a regular part of my life, and I love it. There is the chance that I'll be doing a live meditation group, conducting a live meditation group here where we live, and then one of the meditation evenings on YouTube will have to go because I can't make it work at home otherwise. Hi Emily, nice to have you here as well. But that's nothing that's like been determined now, and I don't know what's going to happen with that. But if that happens, I'll tell you about it. So it is nice. I appreciate you, and I do. It does mean a lot when people show up, and especially when people keep coming back. There's this philosophy that when people join or like start watching someone on YouTube, that they have, is it 9 months, I think? Or 6 months? I think it's 6 months. So basically you get interested in someone, and then after 6 months you're done with that cycle, and then you move away from them. So I'm very happy that there are people who've been here for well over a year now. That means that there's something that resonates and that you keep coming back for. And I think that the new direction that I'll take the channel, which is not really that new, is just a different focus. And anyone who's been here knows that I'm not really into Buddhism or really into the whole spiritual stuff. In fact, I think spirituality ruins many people's lives, and I've seen many people have their lives ruined by going into too deep into all this stuff, and losing perspective of what they're actually doing. Got a meditation pillow as a present, excited to use it. Well, that's nice. Hey JVB, nice to see you as well. So yeah, that would be the new direction, which is more, how should I put this? More down to earth than I already have been, more realistic, and more, really the main focus will be what I've always had as focus, which is that we're not trying to escape this life. There's so many people who get into spirituality and meditation because they want to get away from their life. They think, oh, my life sucks. I hate the way I feel inside my body, so I want to get away from that. I don't want that. I want something else. And so they start meditating because they want to feel the highs of meditation. Instead of getting drunk, I get meditational highs, or I want to start communicating with other dimensions or finding spirit guides that will give me the right choices so that I will make the right choices. And when I have the perfect life, then I'll be happy. And I really strongly believe that that's not many times not even a healthy way to live life, because it can pull you so far away that it becomes difficult to function in society, which a lot of people do have problems with when they go too deep into spirituality. Mats, let's see, I've been thinking about recently how long I have been meditating with you. Probably since early 23. Yeah, I think so. It's been a long time. It's very nice. I mean, I feel like there's a few people who have been here for so long, it feels like family. Because, yeah, you have been showing up for a long time. And even though we don't see people, I mean, I've chatted with a lot of people on Zoom calls, it's still, you get a feeling for what people are like. And I really like the people who keep coming here. Sometimes there's someone who shows up who just doesn't really feel like they belong, and they just disappear naturally because they don't want to be here. They don't like it here. If they're really into that part, then they will naturally leave because they don't like it, and that's exactly how it should be. JVB, if it would be okay to ask, in which practice were you ordained? As a reminder, I know you've mentioned it before. Oh yeah, so I was ordained in the Theravadan tradition in Sri Lanka. There's basically, I mean, in Buddhism there's two main schools. There's the Mahayana and the Theravada. What they mean, depending on a little bit how you translate it, but Theravada means literally the old school. Theravada, like the old school. Think of it like Orthodox Christianity, kind of the oldest tradition. Or is that the oldest tradition of Christianity? I don't know. But it's like they believe in the scriptures. It's correct. It's like it says in the old books. Like that's how we practice it. Then you have the Mahayanists. They believe that actually what the Buddha really meant was what there were two disciples who kind of split up the Sangha into two branches. And the new Sangha said that actually it's not all about you should just sit and meditate. It's about we should bring peace and loving kindness to the world, and then all of us will be liberated at the same time. So they have a different outlook on what you're supposed to do, and that really shows in how they practice. Theravadins tend to be more focused on intellectual studies, and an even higher goal within that is to actually meditate and experience it yourself. Mahayana is more towards doing good in the world and learning how to live in harmony with other people. I mean, both of these things are really good things. So it's not like one is bad and the other one is good. They both have their advantages, and I've been in both schools, and I found a lot of useful things come from both ways of practicing. I believe the people who focus too much on trying to change the world into something positive and learning how to live in the world in a harmonious way, they really don't have the strength of mind that you get from practicing meditation intensely. And at the same time, the people who sit all day, they never apply it with actual people. So they both miss something, and they both have something very useful. So yeah, the Theravadan tradition. Nicole, I have definitely gone down YouTube spiritual rabbit holes, and I feel like I have lost the plot completely. I need to get back to earth. Nice. I like that. And that's basically what I want to... Hey, Esperanza, nice to see you as well. Hey, Tim. Yeah, that's what I want to be. I want to be a place for people who have, not maybe the people who just start out, but people who have really been into the spiritual practice for a while and seen how far away you can get. Like really, if you knew how many people I met and personally had long, deep conversations with, who believe that they have completely ruined their lives from getting too deep into spirituality. And sometimes they don't even understand it themselves because they believe, oh no, this is what it's all about. I live with a partner I hate, but I do that because he brings up all this mirroring stuff inside him and it's so good for me. I'm growing so much. And they focus so much on the negative stuff. It's just about getting all of this, and they believe if they can do enough of that, then eventually there won't be anything there. The thing is, if you do that, yes, it does help for sure to get away from many of the things you have, like trauma and stuff. But if you always focus on that, you miss that life is enjoyable. It is good to be alive. And the more you lean towards, oh, actually, you know what? Life is pretty nice. Like it's good to be alive. I enjoy being alive. I enjoy sitting here. I've had an amazing day today with my children. And before, when things were difficult with my burnout and everything, like, oh, it's so difficult to be alone with them. And they're yelling and they're screaming, and it's so easy to see. They're fighting the whole time. And my son, he either whispers or he just yells everything. He screams. It's like bah, 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 bah. It's like there's nothing in between, and it can like hurt the ear sometimes. But they're so adorable and they're so cute. And being able to be present with other people, with yourself, with nature, with building, with working, with cooking, it doesn't matter. If you can really truly learn to not feel that stress always pulling you, pushing you somewhere, and actually just, I'm doing this now. It doesn't matter what it is, and I'm going to do this now. You might try to do it fast, but you're doing this now. And your main goal, if you can, is not to focus on finishing it, but to focus on enjoying it and appreciating it, feeling that it's nice to do this thing. If you can focus more on that, rather than all this other like weird stuff and like bringing up things. And I know people who got into open relationships because they believe, oh, it's so good. I have this thing about sharing my partner, but obviously that's like something in me I need to look at. And they open up the relationship, and it just ruins, like it just, the amount of anxiety that creates. I would never live in an open relationship. It's not my thing. I don't want to share my fiance. She's like, I believe in a monogamous relationship. It's fine that other people don't like that. That's like their thing, but we both believe in the same thing. So the feeling of living with someone and not have to constantly go around worrying about what they're doing, what they're thinking, or like showing your phone. Like I have absolutely nothing to hide from her. She doesn't hide anything from me. That creates a bond that is just very difficult to do when you're not like committing. So there's so much about spirituality that kind of doesn't want to commit, doesn't want to take responsibility, doesn't want to be the person who actually has to be responsible for your happiness. Not just like pushing it all away or looking at all this bad stuff. But no, you have to choose happiness. You have to consciously first make sure you don't spiral away too much into dark thoughts and difficult things. Bring yourself back, preferably usually through neutral. And then after that, don't just stay neutral, but then start enjoying. But that's a conscious choice, and that seems to be what most people miss, which I learned from being in Plum Village. When I noticed that while I was there, I have never had so many non-centric experiences, and really just, wow, it's amazing being here, and just everything, the world just starts to pop. It's just so nice to be alive, and not just for a few minutes, like hours or days. And you can do that wherever you are. You don't need to go to Plum Village to do that. But if you shift your focus from just, negative stuff, being in that, or no, my life is bad, I'm going to escape to some other place, or whatever it is. And actually, you're responsible for your happiness. Don't blame it on other people. Sure, people do things that suck and that are non-defendable and that I would absolutely criticize. But that doesn't matter. It's your responsibility how you feel about that. No one else can determine that. It might not feel like that, and there are for sure things that are so difficult that seems like absolutely ridiculous, but really you do have the possibility to do that. Stephen, that's what the Buddha meant on the middle way. Yeah, the middle way, that's a really interesting perspective that many people forget. Amelie, I feel like the more spiritual I got into the past, the less present I was in the moment. Yeah, because now you're not worrying about, oh, what am I doing now? And like what I have to... No, now you're worried about past lifetimes. I've had so many people come up and have anxiety about in their past lifetime, they believe they committed some kind of grievance towards someone, and how do I overcome that? I've had people who have come and discussed because they believe they did a bodhisattva vow. They were Mahayanists, so basically made a bodhisattva vow that I will not become enlightened until I become a bodhisattva and I come back and save the planet. And then they're like, oh, I think I changed my mind. I made the commitment in a past life. Does that still apply? Because I actually want to get enlightened now. And they have anxiety about that. It's like, there's enough to worry about. Don't... JVB, I really want to master the art of finding balance between all the lessons I learned from multiple practices. Some practices cover areas of life that resonate well with me, while others don't. I think, like for example, I find myself asking, how can I strike a balance between what Taoism teaches, what Jesus taught, and what the Buddha taught? First of all, you have absolutely no idea what any of those people taught. Like, just Taoism, I mean, that's Tao Te Ching, whatever it was, the one who wrote that main book, I think. My point is that you don't know what they taught. Buddhism, I think the oldest text came 400 years after the Buddha lived. 400 years. Just think, sit on that for a minute. 400 years. If you ever play that game where you whisper in someone's ear and you go around a circle and you say one word and they whisper, you're not allowed to repeat it, just repeat, let it go in a circle. Everyone knows that it doesn't take a big circle to completely skew what was said. So if you believe that whatever these people said is still exactly what was said, then yes, just play that example and see if that's true. Now that doesn't mean that there's nothing good in there or that we can't look at the big outlines, because if you would talk a lot about something that they did, then there should be some kind of main themes. But I don't take anything I read from anyone who did anything from like a long time ago for true. And even if we had texts, imagine, just think about how we represent the wars just 100 years ago, how they're being represented today. History is written by the winners. History is written by the people who overcame. And it's going to be different in different countries. Like, what's actually true? I mean, there are certain things we can know, but all the nuances, all the details, it's very difficult to know exactly what happened. We can't even know what happens right now in countries like all over the world. So I wouldn't get too caught up in right and wrong, perfect teachings. Again, for me, the guideline is, why are you doing this? Why are you practicing? What is it you want to do? Is it because you want to, in the future, get enlightened? In the future, get reborn in a higher realm somehow? Then, again, I can't say anything about that. But for me, it really always was, what am I supposed to do to feel content and happy? What's expected of me? Everyone says, oh, go out, work, get a partner, earn enough money, do this, and then somehow we'll get rewarded. No one says exactly what you're supposed to do, the right formulation. But if you do the right thing, you get rewarded. But be very careful, because if you do the wrong thing, oh my goodness, that is terrible. That is really, really bad. And you might ask, what happens? Well, we're not going to tell you, but it's really bad. Trust us, bro. So then everyone has this fear, and we don't know. So I left because that was what I was acting from my whole life. And I wanted to know, why can't I just be satisfied? Why can't I just feel good, content with what I had? And the key seems to be just look at the difficult things that come up, make sure you don't have too many of them left, move through neutral, and then start enjoying and really appreciating being alive. Focus on here, now, but not just, oh, I'm here and I'm sitting here having this conversation. No, the literal experience of now, your eyes, your taste, feeling everything, really narrow it down. And that's all you need to do. And then by doing that, you're going to have all these things coming up. Like, well, what if I do the wrong thing? Is this ethical? Is this good in the past life, future life? Will I come to heaven? Will I not get to heaven? Worry, fear, anxiety, all these things are going to come up. It's just going to be very natural to look at them. And take the long perspective. Don't do this as, which many people do, I'm going to fix it now, I'm going to be serious, I'm going to really practice. No, this is like decades. You're going to need a long time to do this. And if you can have that perspective, rather than believing that I'm going to figure something out, if I just understand this teaching, and if I combine the right teaching from them with them, and like I get it, they're like, oh, there fits, and then you're liberated. I have still not met a single person who's done that. It just seems to make things worse. Let's see. Esperanza. Being present in a community is good spiritual practice, I think. Absolutely. There's a lot of things that can be learned from being in a community. I've noticed that all communities fall apart after a while. It's very difficult to keep a community going, especially after the founder or the people who drove it in the beginning disappears. And community is not like the be-all, have-all, but living it for a period of time in a community is really useful. A lot of people could learn something from that. Amelie, that's what I always think. You never know what's the whole story. Yeah, exactly. We don't know. JVB, yeah, but some teaching from them are so good and relevant to me, at least. Yeah, well then follow them if they help you. I mean, for sure. Amelie, have you ever heard that meditation isn't good for people with mental health problems? What's your take on this? Like depressed people get more depressed because of meditation. So I think I made a video called The Dangers of Meditations, like ex-Buddhist monk exposes or something corny like that. I don't know. But yeah, that's absolutely true. So if you go, first we need to separate what we mean when we talk about meditation. When people talk about this, usually they talk about the more intensive practices where you meditate several hours per day. I've heard someone, I think it was Dr. K, who is a big mental health YouTuber towards gaming, young adults, boys mostly. I heard him say that if you meditate less than 20 minutes, it's less of a chance to activate the parts of your brain that gets to this kind of depth. So then there's less chance of that happening. But for sure, if you start sitting and you sit several hours every day, things are going to start coming up that you have maybe pushed down before. So there's both the thing that you push things down that come up that can overwhelm you. There's also the thing that there are cycles or natural paths that everyone follows. And this is not, I think like, no, really, I've seen this in hundreds of people, and and I'm not talking about insights or you understand this or that. No, really how the meditation feels, how you start like, I don't really know what I'm doing. Everything's a bit awkward to, I'm getting the hang of this. And then in that, there can be some thoughts of cause and effect coming, and then it goes up, and then you come to a point where it just shoots up and like, whoa, I get meditation now. And you just sit there and it's like so easy to watch the breath. No problem. I'm just like sitting here. I'm enlightened. This is actually talked about in Buddhism as false enlightenment because people believe they're enlightened. And then they get past that, and then it starts going down and goes, whoa, and it goes into what's called dukkha jnanas, the knowledge of suffering. And there, or the dark night of the soul, everything becomes tough. The mind, watching the breath is torture, it's terrible. It's like syrup and heavy, and it's just painful to watch the breath, and you have to go through that. And if you're able to go through that, then you come to equanimity where everything is just fine. There's no reason to meditate anymore. Like, yeah, it's okay. And if you're able to go past that, you get to nirodha or the cessation where the like experience stops for a while, and that would be the first stage of enlightenment in the Theravadan, strictly Mahasi meditation tradition. That's how they describe that. You pass that, and then you start over again. And these are cycles that they kind of happen. Then you would be a stream enter, or a Sotapanna. This, like, you can see this. It's very clear when you do long retreats for a few months that you go through these things. If you do that, and you have mental problems, it's not a good idea. You shouldn't do that. You should not go and sit 8 hours per day when you're suffering from schizophrenia or severe depression or any kind of mental disease that is just issue that can cause problems, because it's too much. It's no vacation. I say this quite often. Like, people would tell me when I got home, they was like, oh, lucky you sit up there in the mountains and just relax and like breathe in the air and you calm. No. If you go and sit and you observe what happens inside of you when things really gets tough, that's not fun, and that's really, really rough and tough. And if you're not mentally stable, you should not be doing those kind of things, which is why anyone who has a serious serious practice center where you actually go for a prolonged period of time and you have a practice that lasts for, I don't know, like more than 8 hours or something. I don't know where the line is actually, but where there's a lot of sitting every day, then they will screen you and they will ask, do you have any mental problems? Do you have any issues? Have you gone through things? And this is always a feeling thing, because it doesn't mean that it's not going to work. It's just that you can and eventually will run into problems. Everyone will, even if you're healthy mentally. You're going to run into issues. And you need to have a teacher who's comfortable handling that, because for most people who haven't seen enough, they simply don't know how bad it can get and don't know how to handle it and don't know that it's natural and what to do to help you go through that. So yes, meditation can be dangerous for people with mental health problems, but usually we're talking about more intensive practices, and we're talking about people who simply couldn't handle that. But I'm not saying they can never go to a retreat. I'm just saying that they should be careful, and they should absolutely under no circumstances stop taking their medicines, which is what almost everyone does. I'm going to fix myself. I'm going to go and I'm going to sit for 1 month, 10 days, 3 months, whatever, and I'm going to stop taking my medicine and I'm going to go through this and come out clean on the other end. That is usually when people start running around naked in the meditation hall, bathing in the pond, thinking they're Jesus, jumping out of windows, thinking they can fly, going around with, oh my goodness, yeah, weird stuff happens at meditation centers. So, and this can happen to people who are like not mentally unstable before, because stuff comes up. So be careful if you want to do something like that, and always be open with the place you're going to. Don't hide things like that, and for God's sake, don't stop taking your medicine, whatever you do. Even when you come here, like I have people who come to me and who want coaching and say like, yeah, I want to overcome my depression, so I want to do this, and I've stopped taking my medicine. And as soon as I hear them, I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm very happy that you want to get past this, but I will not work with you if you stop taking your medicine without discussing it with your doctor. It's not just because of liability, it's because it's a bad idea. It can be very dangerous to let all this stuff come up, and especially if you are coming off of medicines at the same time and then start going into all this deep stuff thinking, oh, I'm going to figure it out, I'm going to do it myself, I'm strong, I'm powerful. Yeah, until you set a lot, you don't know what it feels like to really lose control and have things spiral out of control. And I've had that happen to myself many, 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 many times. Like a lot. So I'm okay with breaking down. I'm okay with falling apart, having my mind just kind of fall apart in front of me. And that's why I can now be calm when things go really bad or feel wrong. There are still certain things that are there that might be difficult to look at, but when you do that enough, there's a neutrality that's there. And that's what most people get when they sit and meditate a lot. But if you have that neutrality and then turn that into enjoying your life, that's when it starts getting really easy to just enjoy being here. JVB, personally, meditation helped me get through a period of high anxiety. Meditation gave me a sense of perspective that eased my anxiety. Meditation helped me with going with the flow. It's amazing. That's exactly how it should be used. And I'm assuming you didn't, if you're taking medicine, stop taking your medicine and go into a center and meditate from morning to evening. And again, I don't know how bad it was for you. Again, I'm talking about people who are having a really hard time. If you're just suffering from like a heartbreak or things going bad or things being difficult, of course you can meditate, but there's also a difference with how intensely you do it. Doing 20 minutes per day or an hour per day, that's like not really that big of a thing. It's when you start doing this much more and for longer periods of time that we need to be careful. And there's actually a famous guy who wrote meditation books, who was a doctor, who said that whenever I prescribe medicine to a patient, I have to tell them, look, this is what we're expecting to get from the medicine. This is what it will help you with. But here are the side effects. And you need to be careful with these things. You're not allowed to drive when you're doing this. You're not allowed to drink alcohol. There's like certain things you shouldn't do while taking this medicine. And there can be these side effects that can be jarring, dangerous, and for a few people it can be like deadly even. I mean, some people do commit suicide after being on retreats and it just spirals out of control. Again, this is really rare, but stuff gets bad. And he says, I can give medicine to anyone, then I need to tell them. But when someone goes and meditates, everyone says, oh, it's just nice. Just go and sit. It's fine. It's going to solve everything. No, it's serious. And especially when we're talking about intensive practice, meaning several hours per day. If you're sitting 20 minutes per day, I mean, that's not quite the same thing, so I wouldn't worry about that. But it is good to have someone you can talk to and ask. And that's one of the reasons I'm here as well. If people run into things like that, just ask, like, I'm here and I will give the guidance I can, but you should eventually, ask for help with that. Stephen, how much meditation a day is necessary? Necessary for what? No, it wasn't at that level. Yeah. Absolutely. Then, like I said, it can help people who are feeling down, but we're talking about people who are having severe mental health issues. Amelie, I realize when I meditate 20 to 30 minutes a day, I'm fine, but if it's longer than that, I start feeling worse. Can happen. And the thing is, if you go to a retreat, you can actually go through that and something else can come out. So that's the conundrum of it. It's not like, oh, you're supposed to always feel better after you meditate. No, sometimes we go through things. So it's actually useful to break yourself down so you can build yourself up. But then you should do that with the guidance of someone there, preferably at a retreat with experienced teachers who can help you through that. Really interesting topics, and something that I think a lot of people don't want to talk about because they're so in love with the idea that meditation helps and cures cancer and saves everyone on the planet. Magic. Which, I mean, there is a lot of good things that can come from meditation, and I have seen people do miracles through meditation. Not levitate miracles, but like healing themselves miracles. So there's a lot of good that can come from it, but one should also be careful with it. It is like the medicine bottle, especially when you start taking higher dosages, then things can happen that will shock a lot of people, especially if you're not prepared for it. And especially since many people go like, oh, I'm just going to try this meditation because it's cool and I want to get this person to like me because I'm into meditation as well. And then they go and they do like a 1-month retreat or even a 10-day retreat, and then they're like, oh, I didn't expect it to change how I feel about things around me. Or maybe they lose their emotional connections to their children, which can happen for sure. You don't feel anything towards anyone. You don't feel like you have any kids, or you don't feel in love. And if you never felt that before, that's going to scare the crap out of you. And like, oh my goodness, I messed up my mind. And if you don't have someone there who knows that this is normal, this is not dangerous, this is going to come back, and knows what to do to bring you back, then yeah, that can mess up your life and you can ruin your life, which happens to a lot of people who get too deep into spirituality and just going to wing it and do their own stuff. Again, stop taking medicine is so common, and then it spirals out of control. JVB, perhaps that's the beauty of meditation. It can be personalized. I find myself feeling even more better if I extend my meditation past 20 minutes, like to almost an hour. I always sit, I rarely sit less than 20 minutes. That's if the kids disturb me too much. And usually never more than 1 hour. Occasionally a little bit more. There's just no points anymore. And then it just naturally progresses a cycle. That would be like 25, 30 to 45, 50 an hour. I think that's just how it goes. Don't see any reason to sit longer than that. And again, I've sat so much that I'm comfortable with all the stuff that comes up. But sometimes imagine you're sitting by yourself at home and then something comes up and it's difficult. Again, one of the reasons I have this channel, because then people can actually come and ask questions about that and not feel that they're alone and that life is ruined, because it's not. And there are ways to bring you back, and it is not really that complicated. It just requires a bit of time and relaxation, I guess you could say. Nice. As always, amazing topics. I love discussing these kind of things. And I hope that when I start making videos again, I will start doing more videos like this, not just about how wonderful everything is, but actually like the things people should think about, because this is important stuff. Many people meditate have no idea that it can get bad, or they have these over fear of it being bad, or that it's going to be dangerous, going to stop their religion or whatever it is, but having a realistic expectation of what can happen and knowing what can happen, because if all of a sudden you stop having feelings, that might freak you out, but if you know that that's just something that you pass through and you don't have to worry about it, and there are certain things you can do to help with that, then it'll be easier. Stephen, we are pure awareness. Maybe. JV, it doesn't make sense to out-meditate someone because it's also personal. Nicole, I heard somewhere that the point of meditation is to live better, not to live to meditate. And that's my belief, at least. I mean, we do meditation to learn how to see the distortions we have towards things around us so that we can let go of them and really enjoy life without having all that pressure towards everything and everyone around us, but actually enjoy people around us and things around us and life as it is. In other words, yeah, we meditate to live, not live to meditate. Okay, so for those who are new, I'm still waiting for a meditation championship to be established. We should definitely start that. There's this video, I wish I could find it, about a rapper who sings how he goes to a meditation center with a Zen. And like there's all these like girls in sexy outfits and like, oh, he's so spiritual, so enlightened. And then they sing something like, yeah, the teacher told us to sit for 1 hour. I did that shit in 5 minutes because I'm so dope. I'm so spiritual. It's like, yeah, meditation can be really boost the ego a lot for a lot of people. So yeah, we chat a little bit like this before, and then we have the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 practice. After that, we do a guided 20-minute sitting today because it's Monday. On Thursdays, we've started doing breath work or some kind of breathing meditation. Right now, we're practicing with box breathing, which is a special technique that's really good for calming down the mind if you have anxiety or stress. This is something I use myself if I wake up at night with a lot of pain, which can cause anxiety. Then I use that technique. Yeah, we'll do that on Thursdays, and the idea is that we switch that up every month. We do a new technique on Thursdays. So Mondays guided, Thursdays we do the breathing technique of some kind, or some other technique. I thought it'd be fun to switch it up a little bit and discover things together. You are the missing link. Goodbye. Stop spamming symbols. What? Oh, sorry. JB, that's I have some kind of bot. Wait, let me just see. Can I turn the bot off? So I have a bot that makes sure people don't write bad stuff in the channel. I don't actually know how to do that. But yeah, if someone spams icons, it will remove that message. I'm sorry about that. I need to look into. I even forgot I had that, but it happened the other week again. Someone was writing the same message over and over, and it just deleted it. Sorry about that. It's not. You can obviously write lots of smiling emojis. So let's start with meditation. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll do it a little bit briefly now because it's getting late. But basically, it's a meditation to bring us back to the senses. It's really good if you've gotten lost in your thoughts. If you need to just come here and just kind of pull the brakes and be aware of what's happening. Steve. He got kicked. No way. Did it kick him? No. You're back, right? No, yeah, that's JVB. Good. I hope it didn't kick him. That would be terrible. Yes, a meditation exercise to bring us back to our senses. So we say out loud 5 things we can see, 4 things we can feel, 3 things we can hear, 2 things we can smell, and 1 thing we can taste. And that brings us back to our senses. Then after that, we'll do the meditation. So, nice to have you back, Steve. JVB. 5 things we can see. Say them out loud. I'll say the things I see here, and you say on your end. I can see a fire extinguisher. I see a office chair. I can see a door. I see 2 microphones. I see a camera lens. 5 things I could see. Next we take 4 things that we can feel. I can feel some dust in my nostrils that's tickling. I can feel relief by taking away the dust. I can feel outline on my teeth. And I can feel my meditation cushion. Which is from Plum Village, by the way. 4 things I could feel. Next we take 3 things that we can hear. I can hear an airplane passing by. I can hear the fans of my computer. I can hear the wind outside. 3 things I could hear. Next, 2 things I can smell. I can smell sweat. I can smell raspberries or some kind of fruit. 2 things I could smell. Next, 1 thing that we can taste. Taste something lemony. It tastes like lemon. I want you to start focusing on your breath. This particular meditation doesn't control the breath, tries its best not to influence the breath at all, but instead we're just trying to observe the breath as it happens by itself. We're not specifically trying to feel all sensations of the breath. Instead, it's awareness that breath is happening. However it is happening. Doesn't have to be slow, doesn't have to be deep, doesn't have to be fast or shallow. It just is what it is. In other words, it will be a mirror of what's happening inside of us. It's common when people sit down that they're a bit confused because they think it's easy to observe something as simple as the breath. But they notice very quickly that as soon as they start observing the breath, there's these pesky little annoying things that we call thoughts that come in and distract us. Now it's easy to think that, oh, if I can just remember the solution to this thing, if I can write it down, if I can figure it out, then the thoughts will go away. But what actually happens is that thoughts is just a reaction that happens in the mind. It's the same way as you feel when you touch something, the mind will spit out thoughts in relationships to the impressions that it has gotten through the senses that you have. Instead of trying to fight this, instead of getting upset by it, there's a very simple way of soothing or calming down the mind, which is exactly what we're going to do today. And that is to focus on an object of meditation, which for our case here is the breath. Success in doing this is not that you don't have any thoughts. Success is that you realize that you had a thought. Oh, I drifted away into a thought. I'm coming back to the breath. And then 1 second later you have another thought that pulls you away and you come back to the breath again. And you do that over and over and over again. And eventually the mind stops pulling so much and it will calm down, and you'll develop what's called stickiness of the mind, or concentration, or samadhi. And the awareness will simply stick to your object of meditation, meaning your breath, and requires very little effort to just follow the breath as it happens by itself. Which is again why we're not trying to control the breath. We're trying to let the breath happen. You might also notice that as you observe these things happening, you can see how thoughts are just coming in. You're not thinking your thoughts, they're just happening by themselves. And you might also realize that sometimes a thought makes you feel really bad. But then the next time you sit, or maybe later in the meditation, the same thought, exactly the same thoughts, create no reaction at all inside of you, meaning the distortions you have towards that thought has changed. I think of that as cleaning, of watching something and washing it, which is exactly what we want to do. So don't be discouraged when your mind jumps in and starts distracting you, which is actually your distortions pulling you away. Don't feel like you're doing this wrong when you have constantly thoughts coming in, criticizing, analyzing, judging, thinking. Instead, all you have to do is just keep coming back to your breath over and over and over again. And to make this easier, we're going to do a technique where we count our breaths from 1 to 8 and then down again from 8 to 1. I will do the breathing sounds of breathing in and out, but I'm just doing that to show you that I'm breathing in and out. You just let your breath happen in whatever tempo it wants to happen. So I'll do it together with you once, and then you can continue by yourself. So breathing in and out. 1. In and out. 2. In and out. 3. In and out. 4. In and out. 5. In and out. 6. In and out. 7. In and out. 8. In and out. 7. In and out. 6. In and out. 5. In and out. 4. In and out. 3. In and out. 2. In and out. 1. Keep counting your breath from 1 to 8, and then down again from 8 to 1 as you breathe in and out. 1. In and out. Towards the end of the sitting, it's okay to let go of the counting. The counting is only there to pull you harder into awareness of your breath. It's an element that makes it more square, less fluent, less soft, less present, but it's an element that really helps with strongly pulling you into observing the breath and calming down the mind. So it's a crutch that you can use to really become calmer and present, to then do what you want to do with your mind. So if you've been counting your breath until now, I advise you to just let that drift away a little bit and start observing the breath. Start observing the mind and the breath and what happens around you. Do you start pulling into certain directions? Do you start having thoughts of things that need to be done? Just observe what happens and see that's okay. The mind can run this way and that, but look inside of you for just enjoying. What does it feel like when you enjoy? And I don't mean, oh, I enjoy that I won the game. I enjoy that I got the man or the girl or the woman or the boy or the salary. No, I'm talking about enjoyment when you're just feeling good. When you're taking a walk in nature and taking a deep breath and just, oh, this is a beautiful morning. It's nice to be here. Or when you're sitting on the couch with your partner under a blanket, and maybe it's storming outside and you're drinking a cup of tea together. And if you have kids, they're sleeping soundly, not saying a word. And you're just cuddling up in the sofa and feeling, oh, it's nice to be alive. It's nice to just sit here. Don't push for it. Don't strain for it. Don't look for it. Just lean in the direction of enjoying and appreciating how nice it is to sit here. To just be. There's nothing you need to do for the next few minutes except just sit still with closed eyes and observing. How cool is that? See if you can find enjoyment, appreciation, and then lean into it. See where it goes. And if you keep on leaning in that direction, it will become almost like a force of its own, almost like a flavor to life that changes how you experience the world. And then if you keep doing that, that will become even stronger and more and more and more. And that will build upon itself, and then when a difficult thought comes or something that you think is serious, then that will have to face that energy of just enjoying and appreciating, and will make it melt away eventually. Or you have to go back and think, is it really worth to ruin this one moment I have over what they said on the subway before, or what that person wrote in the newspaper that I didn't like, or that thing that someone said to me when I was 15 and they cut in queue in front of me and said I looked like dog shit because my hair wasn't good. So after that I've always felt bad about my hair. Whatever it is, just see if it's really worth to have the choice and choosing to feel bad when you can have this feeling of just enjoying, appreciating. thank you. That was a really nice sitting for me. I hope it was good for you as well. And if not, then probably it was really useful, because good sitting is not always the best sitting. Many times it's the other way around. Nice to see so many old faces back. It makes me smile. And I hope you have a good week. You're welcome. And I hope I'll see you back on Thursday again, when we'll try something new. And as always, enjoy yourself. And I'll see you on Thursday. Thank you. Good night.